Gladys Aylward was born in London in the early 1900s. God put a burden on her heart for the lost souls in China when she was only a young lady. Even when she failed missionary school, she didn't give up. She educated herself and practiced preaching in the streets. She worked hard to save her money so she could get to China. In desperation, she cried out to God.
Oh God, here's my Bible. Here's my money. Here's me. Use me.
That is when things began to change. As soon as Gladys had $3, she headed to the shipping agency.
How much is a one-way ticket to China?
And to what part of China would that be?
I don't know. Any part will do. Whatever's the cheapest to get to.
Step aside, miss. I have work to do.
No, you don't understand. I have money and I need to get to China. Here.
Now, the cheapest sea passage to any part of China is $107. That's 30 times more than the money you have.
There must be a cheaper way.
There is. If you don't mind arriving dead, that is. There's a railroad through Europe, Russia, and China. It would cost $57, but it was in progress between Russia and China. It's unlikely you would arrive alive at your destination, wherever that might be.
It's my life that would be at risk, so it's my choice. Do you or do you not sell train tickets to China?
Yes, we do.
Very well. I would like to open an account for a train ticket to China. Take the $3 and I will be back every Friday afternoon with more money to pay the ticket. Don't worry about me and a silly little war. By the time I save enough money to get to China, it will be long over.
Very well then. Name and address, please.
Every week, Gladys went back to the traveling agency and paid him more money towards her train ticket. Finally, after 1 year, she had enough money. It was with mixed emotions as she boarded the train. Over 50 people stood on the station platform to watch her leave. She traveled on the train for 4 weeks, only to arrive at the wharfront. The conductor had tried to tell her, but she couldn't understand him. The train wasn't going back for several weeks, so Gladys had to walk back to the previous town. It took her 30 hours through freezing temperatures to get there. Next, she was almost taken captive by a Russian man, but a young girl helped her escape. Finally, she arrived in China and found Miss Lawson. In the next few years, they started an inn, and through their Bible stories, lots of people came to know Jesus. One day, the town mayor came to see her.
The mayor's coming, the mayor's coming.
I've come to ask for your help. I have a problem and only you can solve it for me. As you know, there is a new government in China and they have made new rules. One of the rules is that foot binding is to be stopped in China. The new government is holding each mayor personally responsible to make sure foot binding stops in his district. So I need a foot inspector. A man would not do because men are not to look at a woman's feet. So I need a female foot inspector. But where, I ask myself, would I find a woman who can travel on rough roads and climb mountains to reach the small villages to make sure every girl's feet have been unbound? Only a woman with unbound feet could do that. And there is only one woman in the whole district, and it is you, Gladys Aylward.
But I'm a Christian, not a foot inspector. Wherever I would go, I would speak of my God and my faith, and I would try to make others believe as I do.
It is most important to me that foot binding stops immediately. As to your religion, it is of no importance to me. Speak of what you will. If the women become Christians, they will want their daughters to have unbound feet like you, and that would be a good thing. When you speak, people need to listen. To disobey you is to disobey me. I will pay you for your service. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
I will send the soldiers and the mule for you to begin your work in the morning. You are expected to report to me regularly on your progress.
Unbind that little girl's feet immediately. See these little feet? God made this little girl's feet just like little boys' feet. If I come back and find that anyone has found this girl's feet again, that person will be put in prison.
It took Gladys several months to visit every village and every family in the district. And because the mayor was a cautious man, he had her go through every village the second time just to make sure no more little girls' feet were being bound. Gladys didn't mind, as her storytelling was producing results. Soon, small bands of Christians began to form in the villages she visited. One day, the mayor needed her again.
Gladys, you must come immediately. The mayor has summoned you. There is a riot in the prison and the prisoners are killing each other. You need to come and help them.
That's crazy. I've never been in a prison in my life. There is nothing I could do there. You must have the wrong house. It says that I must go and the mayor is not to be disobeyed. I shall go.
I've been waiting for you. The prisoners are killing each other, and my soldiers are too frightened to go back inside.
I am very sorry to hear that, but I am a foot inspector. What does this have to do with me?
You must go in and stop them.
I must go in there and stop them? But I'm only a woman. I don't know anything about fighting. If I go in there, they'll kill me.
No, they won't. You're always telling everyone that you have the living God in you and you cannot be killed. So how could they kill you?
Wait a minute. You want me to step into a prison rat because I have the living God in me and you think I can't be killed?
Yeah, you and the living God can go in there together and get those men to stop fighting. Otherwise, none of them will be left alive.
I will go in.
Before Gladys had time to think, they escorted her through the prison door. She found herself in a pitch-black tunnel. The tunnel opened into the prison courtyard at the opposite end. Gladys stood paralyzed with fear for a moment, afraid to go forward and unable to go back.
God, protect me now and give me strength to do this.
Then slowly she began feeling her way forward through the tunnel towards the screens at the end of it. A few moments later, she was standing in bright sunlight, looking out at the most horrible scene she had ever seen. Men lay dead or dying everywhere. Without thinking, Gladys stepped out of the shadows and bravely yelled,
Stop at once, all of you. Drop your weapons and come over here. Get into a line, now.
The men began to line up in front of her. She had never seen men that were so thin and with oozing sores and so many lights that Gladys could see them weaving in and out of their hair.
I have been sent in here to find out what the problem is and to help solve it.
I don't know what happened. Somehow it all became too much and someone started a fight. We really didn't mean to kill anybody.
What were you all doing when the riot broke out?
We were doing the same thing we do every day, sitting and waiting for the day to end.
But don't you have jobs in here? Things to keep you busy?
No, we sit and wait all day. Some of the men starve to death because they have no relatives to bring them food, and others die because there's no reason to live. I was a Buddhist priest before I was accused of stealing and sent here for 8 years. I doubt that I should ever get out. A cold kills many in here.
This cannot go on.
What do you mean?
It's no wonder these men rioted. You or I would have too. Look at how thin these men are. Some of them are starving and have nothing to do day after day.
Nothing to do? I don't understand. They were in prison. Of course they do nothing.
But they need something to do. All men need something to do. Get them looms and let them weave themselves some clothes. Let them grow some vegetables to eat. They need something to do.
You have given me much to think about. We will talk about this later.
Gladys began to visit the prison every day. She read them stories from the Bible and taught them about basic hygiene. She also visited the mayor every day until he agreed to make some changes in the way the prison was run. Since there was no money for extras, Gladys came up with her own ways of making the prisoners' lives more useful. Some friends donated 2 old looms to the prison, and Gladys got some yarn and a miller's wheel so that they could grind their own grain. She also taught them how to raise rabbits to sell. Within a few months, the prisoners were all dressed warmly and eating well. Over the next several years, Gladys found children on the streets and adopted them. And then as the war raged on, more orphans found their way to Gladys. At 140 children, she stopped counting. A new Christian offered to take 100 of the children to a safe place. 5 weeks later, she was forced to escape with the rest. The soldiers were coming to their town. They took up their bedrolls and started walking. The sun beat down during the day, cracking the children's lips and sapping their energy. And at night, the howl of wolves filled them with terror. But they plodded on, looking around every bend for a glimpse of the yellow river. By the 12th day, the journey had become almost unbearable. Everyone had to concentrate on the grim task of placing one cut and blistered foot in front of the other.
Look, children, there's the yellow river.
But it's so far away. We'll never make it that far.
Of course we can make it. I think that is Yanshu. We will find food there, and then it is a short walk to the river. We'll get a boat across, and before nightfall, we'll be eating delicious hot soup.
They arrive at Yangchu and find no one.
The food is all gone. Now we can't have some hot soup.
Come, children. Let's go down to the river. God has always provided for us, and He will again.
When they came to the river, there was no boat and no way to cross over. They sat there for 3 days. Gladys, weak from the journey, slipped in and out of consciousness.
Children, sing and pray.
A soldier heard the children singing and offered to take them across the river by boat. On the other side, Gladys gathered the children to offer a prayer of thanks. The waters may not have parted as they did for Moses, but God had still provided a way to cross the Yellow River. It took a total of 31 days till they finally reached a safe town that would take the children. 2 days after she had the children safely in an orphanage, Gladys went into a coma. She remained unconscious for 2 weeks. After that, she slowly recovered and went back to missionary work for the rest of her life.